Right, hello everyone. So today we're going to talk about Tory entryism, and I'm going to make the argument, I'm going to make the proposal to you that Tory entryism is the only way to save our country. Or at least it is the best way to save our country. In fact, there are many ways that we can save our country, many things that could be done. Nothing is impossible. But are any of these things likely to happen? Well, I don't know. And are any of these alternative ways to save the country easy? Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm all in favor of a Sri Lanka style revolution if people want to do it. It's kind of been memory hold, but if you noticed on the news a few years ago, was it a year ago? Was it two? I forget. But Sri Lanka overthrew its government. They stormed parliament and they had a regime change, right? Doesn't get celebrated. It's been totally forgotten. I mean, I'm in favour of it. If you guys want to march on Parliament, we can do it. If you guys want to do a yellow jacket revolution, we can do it. If all the farmers want to drive to London and just do something, right, with their tractors, we can do it. I just don't really see it happening anytime soon, unfortunately. I'm all in favour of a peasants' revolt. Okay. Go back to the 14th century, we get our pitchforks, march on London, John Cade. Well, that was a different revolution. But anyway, we've had many peasants' revolutions in this country. Like, we could do it again. I just don't see it happening. Okay, guys? I don't see it happening. I don't see reform getting elected. I will be voting for reform in the coming election as a protest vote, even though they are cucked, even though they kicked out Bo Dale, right, the history bro, and we all know the story. Hope Not Hate did a hit piece, so they kicked him out, and now Hope Not Hate are doing more hit pieces, and they're kicking more people out, so now Reform is being renamed Conform. It is the Conform Party. I was a little bit excited about them earlier on in the year, and I did tell people to vote for them, and I did tell people to rally behind them and support them, because you've got to do something. It's an election year. And in an election year, you kind of have to rally. You have a chance to attack the system. And so you have to rally behind something and just kick the system in the face. And no matter how shit the Reform Party is, a vote for Reform Party is a protest vote against the system. And so, I did say earlier on in the year, we should vote for Reform. I did make a video about it. I did lament about the fact that nobody on the internet was getting excited about it. Now, unfortunately, we had a high, didn't we? We had Lee Anderson join. That was good. But then, like a week later, Bo Dale got kicked out. So on the one hand, Reform is saying, look, we welcome Lee Anderson because we believe in freedom of speech. And, he should be allowed to criticize Islam. And then a few days later, they kick out History Bro, without any consultation, without any conversation, in a very high-handed manner, just like 2 hours after Hope Not Hate do a hit piece, they just, boom, go on, fuck off, like that. Very disrespectful, if you think about it. I mean, at least Lee Anderson got to have a conversation with someone before they booted him, So, they're not going to get elected. They've lost the internet vote, essentially, and who knows how big the internet vote is. It could be anywhere between 100,000 or 1 million people, right? What I mean by that is the Twitter vote, right? The Sargon of Akkad vote, the Lotus Eaters vote, the Dissident Right vote, the Tommy Robinson vote, the Katie Hopkins vote, right? Is the GB News the internet vote? Well, sort of, the anti-vax vote. I mean, well, Richard Tice was pretty good in being anti-lockdown, but he did take the vax. But he did come out and say there would be an investigation and people that were injured by the vax would be compensated. That was pretty good. They're doing all right in the polls, but they're not going to win. I don't think they're going to win. It's going to be a protest vote to vote for them. I think there is an open goal that they could take. I think if Nigel Farage stands up and does what he should do. I mean, this should be it's just recently had his 60th birthday, hasn't he? I mean, this should be the conclusion or the high point of his career. Everybody in the country knows who Nigel Farage is. Nobody knows who Richard Tice is. I was just talking to a guy at work. He's fed up with politics, but he doesn't really pay attention. He knows the country is shit. He's fed up with the mass immigration, but he doesn't pay any attention at all to politics. So he doesn't know who Richard Tice is. He doesn't know what reform is, and he doesn't know who Lee Anderson is. He's got no fucking clue. But he does know who Nigel Farage is. And everybody in the whole country knows who Nigel Farage is. He has got the brand recognition. He is a household name. He is Big Man Nige. He is Brexit Nigel Farage. 17 million people voted for Brexit. Some of them are dead, but they're all floating around out there somewhere. And they're fed up with the Tory party. They're not going to vote Tory. And you need about 10 million votes to get elected, or to get a majority in this country. So 17 million voted for Brexit. They're fed up with the Tories. You only need 10 million to get your party into power. And Nigel Farage is Brexit Farage. If he stood up, if he led reform, they could win, I think. Still. Is he going to do it? Doesn't look like it. Looks like he's just going to be a boomer. I mean, I don't know. I hope he proves me wrong. I really do. I did see a tweet by Richard Tice saying, "Oh, we have a secret plan." Well, I hope. But I don't know. We're in April. We are in April now. April of an election year. And he's not stood up and said that he's tangentially, he's connected to reform, but he's not running as an MP. So he's not getting the news coverage, you know? But it's an open goal. It's just sitting there, right? Because we're faced with a situation where the Tory government is going to be completely devastated. Labour is going to get a massive, massive majority. And why? Nobody's excited about Keir Starmer. Nobody even knows what his policies are, except that he loves Muslims and mass immigration, right? It's not like Tony Blair back in 1997, who obviously formed the last Labour government. At least with Tony Blair, there was some excitement because he did genuinely have a new Labour. They got rid of Clause 4, right? They embraced social democracy instead of democratic socialism. So a slightly different form of socialism whereby there's an emphasis on the welfare state and social justice, right? So essentially, promoting foreigners and gay people and feminists, right? Which is all shit, but nonetheless it was new. It was different. It was a new Labour with a new manifesto. And people kind of vaguely, it was something to get excited about for naive, stupid people, I suppose. And obviously he won by a massive landslide. Keir Starmer's going to win by a landslide, but nobody fucking knows what he wants. Nobody's got any idea who he is or what he wants or what the Labour Party is going to do. They are going to win by a landslide simply because everyone hates the Tories. Because the Tories just lie and lie and lie and lie. And so that nobody's going to vote for them anymore. So it's an open goal. If Farage was to stand up, he could kick the ball in the net and he could save the country and he would go down in history as one of this country's greatest politicians. Is he going to do it? Is he going to do it? Or is he just going to dick around? Looks like he's just going to dick around, just like Donald Trump. Donald Trump got elected. Well done. What did he do? Did he build a wall? No. Did he lock up Hillary Clinton? No. Did he kick out the illegal immigrants? No. What he did do is lock down the entire country and do a warp speed vaccine. And then he knew they would use electoral fraud to get rid of him. He saw it coming. He talked about it. We didn't do anything to prevent it from happening. And then when it did happen, instead of declaring martial law and saving the country, he just fucked off to go and play golf. Why? Because he's a boomer. And boomers are useless. And Farage is a boomer as well. So I don't know, man. I don't want to get too much into boomer hatred in this video, but I'll give the boomers the credit they deserve. They voted for Brexit and they voted for Trump when given the opportunity, but they just don't seem to have the fucking balls, right? The sheer rage and indignation to just smash the left wing. They're too wishy-washy. Massive failure by Farage. Massive failure by Trump. I mean, Farage should never have quit UKIP. He should have stayed with it. But anyway, the point I'm making is that Reform's not going to get elected. I will vote for them as a protest. They're probably not going to get elected. And so what's going to happen is the Tory party is going to lose, right? Jacob Rees-Mogg is correct. He's been saying this recently. He's been saying, look, if a vote for Reform is a vote for Labour. He's right. He's right. But how can you vote for this Tory party? How can you vote for them? How can you vote for them when they're so undeniably shit? Now, I said I would vote for them last year before they kicked Suella Braverman out. And Braverman was shit, but she was saying the right things. Front cover of Daily Express, she defended white people. She said white people are being discriminated against. Nobody celebrated it on the internet, even though this is the whole reason for the alt-right was to get people to start talking about white identitarian politics. Home Secretary comes out, defends white people, and everyone just ignores it because, oh, she's Indian or whatever. Okay, all right. Well, she was shit. She didn't save Julian Assange. She could have just released him. She didn't do that. And obviously she didn't stop the boats. And obviously she didn't fix the Home Office. So she was shit. But she was saying the right things. And public opinion does matter. And you can think that it doesn't, but it does. Because they spend billions and billions and billions every year trying to form public opinion. And she did represent an ongoing backbench rebellion. This entire 14 years of Tory rule has been the story of ongoing backbench rebellion by genuine conservatives trying to kick out the Blairites. Because the current party is a Blairite party. You could call it, what's that word? Blatcherism. Because Tony Blair's party is Thatcherism economically, mixed with social justice. So we're living in the age of Tony Blair, but we're also living in the age of Thatcher. So it's Blatcherism, right? I know that's a fun word to learn and use. But point being, like 14 years of Tory rebellion, 14 years of Euroscepticism, 14 years of backbenchers pushing for Brexit. Okay, this has been an ongoing thing. I've been talking about it a lot on the internet. A lot of people give me a hard time. Oh, you love the Tory party. No, the Tory party's shit. Everybody knows the Tory party is shit. I'm just a practical and pragmatic man. I want a course of action that is going to seize power and going to change the country. It's not about love for the Tories. The Tories are shit. I just want to bend them to my will. Because I don't see any other way of changing this country or saving this country. And I think there's a lot of people on the internet who have just got a massive ego, and you know, they're like crabs in a barrel, and I think what happens is, like, people, they're ordinary kind of like blue-pilled normies, right? I don't like the word normie, but anyway, they're ordinary people, and then they get involved in politics, and then they realise that the Tory party is totally shit and not conservative at all, and actually it's a left-wing party, and so they end up repulsed by the Tories, and then they say, well, I'm never voting for them. And then when somebody like me says, okay, we need to vote Tory and we need to do entryism into the Tory party to bend it to our will, then they look at me and they say, oh, you're one of those stupid people and you think that the Tory party is a right-wing party. Oh, you're so fucking dumb. No, you're dumb. You're dumb. Right? You're on like first level of realization. I have transcended that and moved on to a third level, right? I've moved on to the pill beyond the red pill, which is the Tory entryism pill. Okay? But the internet is a place of peer pressure and a place of people who are black-pilled, and it's a place of irony bros, and it's a place of crabs in a barrel, and it's a place of people who like to criticize anybody else's plan to save the country, but they have no plan themselves. And they will just say, oh, Tory entryism, that's a shit idea. Well, what's your fucking plan then? Yeah, you're so clever. What's your fucking plan to save the country? You dipshit. Sitting on Twitter, posting memes. Yeah, what's your fucking plan, you knob? Do you have a plan? Oh, you don't have a plan. Oh, no. Oh, you're fucking retarded. Oh, great. Yeah, leave a comment. Leave a comment below, right? Fucking morons on the internet. So, if you don't have a plan, you better develop a plan. I'm not saying practice Tory entryism because I love the Tory parties. I'm saying it because a third party can't get elected. I don't see any other option. I don't see any other option for change. Labour's obviously not going to save the country, right? We can't have a violent... well, we could have a violent revolution. You're not allowed to talk about it, but I mean, it's theoretically possible. But the British public did not riot after Rotherham, okay? So, in my opinion, the British public are totally psychologically broken. And the Rotherham story broke about 12 years ago now, I think. 2012 it was, wasn't it? Right? So we have foreign men in our country raping schoolgirls, and the British men of this country discover this, and what do? Do they smash the whole place up and burn the country down? And no, they don't. What they do is they go back to wanking, right, to Pornhub, and I mean, God bless them, they voted for UKIP. Well done. I voted for UKIP as well in 2015. Protest vote. And yes, that vote did force the Tory party to give us the Brexit referendum, and then of course we won that, and then that has sustained the Tory party for the last decade because they've been dicking around with Brexit and people kept supporting them to get Brexit done, and now they've run out of steam and they've got nobody's got any reason to vote for them anymore. And meanwhile, we've had 10 years of bullshit and 10 years of mass immigration and 10 years of transgenderism, right? That's what has happened. But the point being, there's not going to be a violent revolution because the men of this country are totally psychologically broken. If you are a white English man and you allow foreign men to rape your women, you're fucked in the head, right? If you're not angry about this, and I've met a lot of people who aren't, and they say things like, "Oh, white men rape too." Okay, you're fucked. Like you're done in the head. You're finished. There's no other country in the world would tolerate this. No other group of men in the world would tolerate this. Even you can laugh at the Chinese, right? Oh, chinky chonk Chinese with their small willies. They got more fucking balls than English men, I'll tell you that. Because if you went to China and you had English men raping Chinese girls, they'd kill you. They'd form a mob and they'd kill you. They'd do it in India. They'd do it in China. They'd definitely do it in any Islamic country. They'd probably do it in Brazil. They'd fucking kill you. But in England, the British men are just like, oh, well, I don't know. So there is not going to be a violent revolution in this country because this country, the men of this country are totally broken, totally psychologically broken, and spiritually broken as well. So that option is off the table, okay? Option number 2, third party. Well, like I just said, Reform is not going to win this election because they've lost the internet vote and because Nigel Farage doesn't look like he's going to step up. If he does, well, throw this video in the bin because it won't matter anymore. But doesn't look like he's going to do it. So Reform's not going to win. We did have a UKIP that got a big vote, 4 million or 5 million votes in 2015? 4 million votes, I think. Big vote. Gave us the Brexit, right? And we're hoping, like, the same thing should happen now. I've been talking about this on the internet for years. Support the third party, use it as a stick to bully the Tory party into doing the right thing. Well, it worked in 2015. It's not working now. It's just not working. I think the only reason it worked in 2015 is because they thought they'd give us a referendum and they thought they'd just win the referendum. That's the only reason it worked, actually. It's not because of any genuine desire to do the right thing. David Cameron thought he's got the BBC on his side and they'll do Project Fear and they'll win the referendum, but it just blew up in his face, right? So now we do have a stick bullying the Tory party, bullying Rishi Sunak. Everybody knows Rishi's going to get wiped out. What are the Tories doing? Have they had another backbench rebellion? Have they kicked out Rishi? Are they stopping the boats? Are they doing anything? They're not doing anything because they don't care. They don't give a fuck. They're happy to lose. Doesn't matter. They'll get their pensions and they'll just give the country to Labour. I genuinely don't think they actually want to win. I think they're just totally broken and they've given up, essentially. So the whole idea of having a third party which could bully the Tory party, which is something, admittedly, I've advocated for a long time, that seems to have fallen to pieces. So the third party's not going to win because you can't get enough votes. Even with a charismatic leader like Nigel Farage, even off the back of Rotherham, they only got 4 million votes. So very hard to win because people are scared of Labour, right? They're scared of Labour, so they vote Tory because they think vote for the third party, Labour gets in. So it's very hard for them to win. And also, it takes time to build up the brand, to get the recognition. You kind of got to get promoted by the BBC. And then, of course, you've got MI5 interfering and, crooked stuff. Different people just messing up your party, right? I mean, I'm seem to remember Farage actually, or UKIP, had to pay out hundreds of thousands to Hope Not Hate because of libel. So it's kind of terrifying to run a third party. You don't have the media on your side. Very difficult to win. So I don't think the third party option is doable or sustainable. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. And I did advocate for it back in 2017, 18, right? When Jared Batten was in charge. I did start a YouTube live stream every week. It was called the Batten Gang. I tried to rally all the troops. I said, let's join UKIP. I joined UKIP. I said, let's do entryism into UKIP. Jared Batten is doing the right thing. He's brought in Sargon of Akkad. He's brought in Count Dacula. He's brought in the E-celebs. He's getting he's getting young blood into UKIP. UKIP was full of old people at the time. Sargon brought in 10, 20,000 people into UKIP. I told everybody to rally behind Jared Batten. They didn't do it, and they lost the European election, and Batten stood down. Got thoroughly stabbed in the back by everyone, stabbed in the back by Nigel Farage. And all these genius leaders of the dissident right, like Mark Collett, Morgoth, Millennial Woes, Horus, Way of the World, all these people, they all said no, we're not going to support UKIP. Instead, they create their gay, retarded, neo-Nazi organization called Patriotic Alternative. And what has that achieved? Well, Sven Longshanks is in jail. Sam, what's his face, 100-handers, he's in jail. What's it done? What's it built? Nothing. If they'd have listened to me, we could have put 10, 20,000, 30,000 dissident writers into UKIP, sat there in the background, pushed our message forward, worked with the CivNats, pushed our message forward, got into town councils. We could have a UKIP with 100,000 members by now. We could have a UKIP with 200,000 members. We could have absorbed all of the frustration from the Brexit crowd could have all gone into UKIP, and all of the people that were frustrated with the lockdown could have gone into UKIP. We could easily have a party of 200,000 members, and it would be a real party with real freedom of speech and real personalities. History Bro could easily be part of it. That Brokenomics guy could easily be part of it. And they'd all be talking to each other, and it would be interesting, and it would be a good challenge. It'd be something worth voting for. Unlike Richard Tice's gay, retarded, conform party. It'd be something that you could be part of and you'd feel like they actually stood up for you. So that was possible. That was doable back in 2018. Right? And I told everybody to get involved. They didn't listen to me. Well, I was right and Morgoth was wrong. And I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over and over again. Because I was right. I was right. But UKIP Zionist. It's Zionist and it's rubbish. I'm going to create a neo-Nazi organization instead. Oh, right. Fucking great. Brilliant. So that got destroyed, and into the vacuum popped up Reform, and it's not even a real political party. You can become like a member, but you're not really a member. You're kind of like a subscriber, and they can just kick you out anytime they want, just like that. Boom. And it's a shadow of Gerard Batten's UKIP, a shadow, but nonetheless, it's all that exists. So, you know, if people are listening to me, then yeah, maybe we would have a real party that could threaten the establishment, but it doesn't exist, right? I mean, if Sargon built a party, I'd join that. You know, I mean, you got Britain First, I suppose. They're pretty good, but yeah, it's so hard. It's so difficult to build a real political party. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of time to get the brand. I mean, I'm frustrated by it because to me it looks kind of like, why don't you, like, as much as I despise Mark Collett, at least he had a good system, right? You know, make a video once a week, do a live stream once a week, get the audience, and then funnel them into your organization. It's a great thing. Why doesn't Britain First do that? I don't know. So Sargon could do it, but again, we're in an election year and maybe he can't be bothered. I don't know. I'm not trying to throw criticism at those guys. I think they're doing a great job. But the point being, my friends, the country's screwed. How are we going to save the country? Right? We're not going to have a violent revolution because every man in this country is psychologically broken. So that's that point. Number two, we're not going to... the third party solution just does not seem to work. It's not impossible. I mean, let me make that clear. It is possible, but oh my God, a lot of hard work, a really long time, and you're going to get infiltrated by all kinds of people, and you're going to get done for libel over and over again, and it's going to be a right fucking pain in the ass. It's doable, but again, you need a great man to step up. You need a great man to build it. I don't see that happening. Okay? So then what other option do we have? We have like weird mystical option being pushed forward by the academic agent. Like, I don't even know what this option is. Oh, I'm an elitist and I read books and we'll sit in the background and wait and something magical in the future will happen. And like, what? That's not a plan. That is the absence of a plan. That's what that is. That's a hope and a dream. That is pie in the sky. Yeah, that's like, you know what that is? That's Julius Evola. That's what that is. Okay, that is the Julius Evola option. Okay, that's, oh, I've got a really big brain. Did you know, by the way, I'm so fucking clever. Yeah? Did you know how clever I am? Guess how clever I am? I've read Julius Evola. I'm so fucking clever. You got no idea. You got no idea. Excuse me. Like, I've read this great esoteric secret knowledge, Julius Evola. I'm so fucking clever. And I'm so... Oh, do you do politics? Oh, you want to do Tory entryism? Oh, that's so mundane and material. No, my brain is too big for that. I've read Julius Evola, and I'm spiritual, but in like a really cool German way, yeah. And I'm gonna ride the tiger, and I'm going to just wait, and like smoke a cigar in the background, and pretend I live in the 1950s, and I'm gonna wear a suit and just read books and intellectualize while my country goes down the fucking shithole. Yeah? Is that the academic agent plan? Because it fucking sounds like it. Right? Oh, but you're really stupid. You want to do something practical, like Tory entryism. Oh. You should read more. Fuck off. Absolutely fuck off, you daft cunt. Unbelievable. Anyway. So those are three options. Okay? What other option do we have? We have the SDP. Okay. Now, this is a point worth making. So, yeah, just look them up on Wikipedia. Yeah, so basically, Social Democratic Party, Northern Party, centre-right, centre-left. I mean, the problem is nobody's heard of them. So, they were a breakaway party from the Labour Party. As far as I understand it, it's basically like old Labour. But I could be wrong. Who knows? I've had a little look at their policies. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that in this country we are in a trap, in that people down south vote Tory because they're terrified of Labour. They don't really want to vote for an alternative like Reform or UKIP because they, Jacob Rees-Mogg, he's correct. A vote for Reform is a vote for Labour. So in the south, we're kind of locked into the Tory fear vote, even though we've reached the point of no return that even that trap has collapsed because everyone's so utterly fed up with the Tories, they're just not going to vote for them. But whatever, that's the trap that we've been living under for quite some time now. What is the way out of this trap? Well, one way out of this trap is for a socially right-wing but economically left-wing party to seize power in the north. And what I mean by that is that people up north, they will never vote Tory because they hate Margaret Thatcher, right? And because people up north are the socialists and they love the NHS and blah blah blah. They don't like the capitalist Southerners. It's just basic tribal instinct. So any Tory vote up north is kind of wasted anyway. You might as well vote for I could say National Socialist, couldn't I? But a nationalist socialist party, an old Labour party, a pro-Brexit, anti-immigration, anti-transgenderism, anti-rape gang, socialist party. People up north would vote for that, and then you could destroy Labour. And that would be an excellent option if such a thing existed. The SDP could perhaps fit that gap, but nobody's heard of them. Nobody knows. Nobody knows who they are. So, if somebody wanted to build that, I'm not a socialist. I don't believe in those policies, but that would be a way to escape the trap. Take the old Labour votes. And I'm making this point because there are a lot of crazy accelerationists on the internet. They just want to destroy the Tory party. They want to destroy the Tory party because they hate England. It's not. They're not doing it out of practicality. It's an accelerationist policy of let's destroy the Tory party and Labour will win and then the country will be fucked and then somehow there'll be some kind of revolution or something will happen when there's no guarantee that will happen. And in fact, historically, when Labour wins, what happens is the Tory party takes on the Labour policies. Okay, the last 14 years have been Blairite. We've had Blairite Toryism. Okay, Thatcher was the only pushback, but she only really pushed back economically against the Labour Party, against Attlee's power, and she didn't really push back against mass immigration. Or in the end, she did start to push back against the European Union, of course, but then they bumped her off, right? So, and you can argue about whether her economic policy, well, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, that's a whole other subject matter. You got to understand, back in those days, there was a Soviet Union. There was a genuine threat of socialist rebellion. Arthur Scargill was a communist. And we did have the winter of discontent, and the country was crippled by trade unions, and she did crush it. And so that was kind of good, but then again, she sold off all of our assets to foreigners. She privatized our utilities, which she should never have done. She privatized British Steel and a lot of manufacturing, car manufacturing, which was good, but then that ended up getting sold off to foreigners, which was bad. And she, of course, we had the Big Bang in the City of London, and she just liberalized all of that. And which temporarily created a lot of wealth, but of course that led finally to the great financial crash of 2008. She is the original architect of all that. And now we live in a country where we've got this essentially giant gambling casino called London, where there's a lot of rich people making a lot of money trading Forex and doing what have you, but the rest of the country's shit. So was Thatcher really this great hero? Well, Well, anyway, the point I'm making is the Tory part, there's no evidence that voting for Labour or having a Labour government will actually give you a right-wing Tory party in reaction to it. Unless you're clever, which is what I propose. So there are accelerationists out there, and they just want to destroy the Tories, and they don't want to. They're not doing it because they got a plan. They just fucking hate the country. And it's dark, you know. They're like, oh, burn everything, and then there'll be a miracle. No, well, it's not quite true. Whereas there is another option, which is destroy the Labour Party, which nobody ever talks about. That's why I'm bringing this up as an option, right? Because in case you're losing track of this conversation, we're going through alternatives to Tory entryism, and I'm eliminating them one by one, right? So one alternative to Tory entryism is destroy the Labour Party by creating a socially right-wing, economically left-wing party to take the northern vote. But it doesn't. Nobody talks about it, and it's not there. But it could be there if somebody had the intelligence and inspiration to do it, because the Northerners would vote for it, and then you trash Labour, and that would be brilliant. But nobody ever talks about destroying Labour. It's a point worth making. You have to scratch your head and have a think about this. Because I'm making this point because I am saying I'm going to vote for reform as a protest vote against the Tories, with the full knowledge that that we're going to get a Labour government. But what I'm proposing is that while we do this, we should also do Tory entryism so that we can get into the Tory party, so that we can select the new leader. This is the point I'm getting at. So that we can transform the party from the inside and actually turn the party into a right-wing party so that we can win in 5 years' time. That's what I'm proposing. I probably should have made that clear at the beginning. It's 36 minutes in, but whatever. That's what I'm proposing. If you are proposing fuck the Tory party, or I'm not voting, but you're not proposing Tory entryism, then you're just an accelerationist, essentially, and you've got no plan. You just hate the Tories, and so you're not going to vote for them. So it's a slightly different thing. That's a negative thing. And what you have to understand is that there are a lot of negative people out there on the internet. They're like crabs in a barrel. They don't have a plan. They just hate the system, and they're not thinking in a strategic way. And they just want to destroy. And they think, oh, we'll destroy the Tory party, and then something will happen. Either a revolution, which is not going to happen, or another party will pop up in the vacuum, which again, as I've just stated, just made clear, it's probably not going to happen. What will probably happen when Labour gets in is that the Tory party will just shift further to the left, because that's what they did after Blair came in, unless we stop that from happening. Okay, I hope that I make that really clear at the 38-minute mark here. So yeah, because nobody talks about destroying the Labour Party, and I just think there's a lot of dishonest, bad faith, bad actors on the internet, and they don't appreciate what is good, and they don't understand that the Tories are actually our natural ally. Okay, because people that vote for Labour are just scum. I know that's a bit of a internet thing to say, but they're fucking deranged. Like if you're a white man and you vote for Labour, you just hate yourself and you hate this country, right? They are not our natural allies. The Labour Party only cares about homosexuals, foreigners, and feminists. That's all they care about. They don't care about the white working classes. They hate the white working classes, and they hate families. And they hate the white middle classes as well, right? So you will not find any natural allies in the Labour Party. But if you join the Tory party, yes, the leadership is shit. Yes, the leadership is Blairite. But the members of the Tory party generally are quite good people. They're the kind of people that they voted for Brexit. They love the flag. They love the royal family. They love the British Empire. They are interested in capitalism and small business capitalism, really. And they love England and they love our history and our culture, and they're not ashamed to be white. That is your average Tory party member. That is your average Tory person. They're the gammon, right? So the gammon are on the right, but for some reason, a lot of people you got to understand, on the internet, it's just full of people who are really just left wing. They're just left wing. They're economically left wing, but they're just socially. Actually, a lot of them are quite socially left wing as well, but they're just racist. You know what I mean? They love gay people. They don't have a problem with that. They don't have a problem with feminism. They're just racist. So economically left wing and mostly socially left wing as well, but they just don't like Pakistani rape gangs. There's a lot of these people, and they fucking hate the Tories, and so they won't vote for them, and they won't form that alliance. What I propose on this channel, and what I've always proposed, is that we create an English ethno-nationalism which works hand in hand with the Civ-Nats to save the country. And we have to reject this gay retarded secret neo-Nazism that has totally polluted and poisoned nationalism in this country. And what I mean by that is the idiots that post memes on the internet saying, well, at least we're not speaking German, right? What do they mean when they post this meme? Well, what they are saying is, actually, what it really comes down to is they're giving us a false choice. They're saying, would you rather be conquered by Pakistan or by Germany? Well, I would rather not be conquered by either, thank you very much. And actually what really happened in the Second World War was that idiot moustache man started a war that nobody wanted. Winston Churchill did not start that war. Maybe because you're retarded, you've watched The Greatest Story Never Told, or The Battle of Europa, and you've been convinced by this neo-Nazi propaganda that Churchill started the war. But this is just what it is. It is neo-Nazi propaganda, which is pushed forward by globalists in order to cripple the natural nationalistic reaction in this country. Because we have foreigners coming in, and it's biologically normal for the men of this country to reject it. But that inclination gets crippled because that inclination is then mixed with Nazism, and nobody likes Nazis, and so you're killing the baby in the womb. That's why the Battle for Europa exists. That's why The Greatest Story Never Told exists. That's why the National Front exists. That's why the BNP exists. That's why the Patriotic Alternative exists. That's why Mark Collett exists. That's why you see all these memes on the internet saying, at least we're not speaking German. All of this is pushed there in order to destroy any kind of English ethno-nationalism, because it is natural and normal for the people of this country to rally behind the English race and the English people and English history and the British Empire. And when I say the English race, I'm actually talking about the dominant white ethnicity of this world, because there's 60 million of us in this country, 20 in Canada, 20 in Australia, God knows how many in America. 100 million perhaps. It's not clear. But we're talking between 150 and 200 million English in this world. And the Anglosphere does still dominate the world. And America is still the number one power in the world. And English is the main language in the world. And everything was good when the British Empire ruled the world. That was actually the peak of European culture. I'll say that again. The British Empire was the peak of European culture, not the German Empire. Not the gay, retarded German Empire. The British Empire. So why don't white nationalists rally behind the memory of the British Empire and the English race? Why not? Because they've been poisoned in their heads by stupid neo-Nazi propaganda on the internet, and they listen to this because they're dumb and they don't know history. But the fact of the matter is that Winston Churchill did not start that war. Even if you say that Churchill was a neocon, okay, obviously neocons didn't exist in that age, but for argument's sake, Churchill was a neocon. Let's compare it to the modern day situation with Iran. We all know the neocons, they want to blow up Iran. Okay, we're just in the news recently. Another thing just got rocketed by Israel. Okay, so we know the neocons in America, they love Israel. They do whatever the Zionist Israeli lobby tells them to do. They've blown up Iraq for Israel. They blew up Afghanistan for Israel. They blew up Libya for Israel. And they've been itching to blow up Iran for a long time. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows America is Israel's little bitch. Okay? Okay, so let's say Churchill was like that at the time, when the British Empire ruled the world. It's debatable, but for the sake of argument, I'll give it to you. Randolph Churchill, Churchill's father, was in bed with the Rothschilds. It's true. So, okay, who put Churchill into power? Because Neville Chamberlain didn't want a war, did he? Did Neville Chamberlain want a war? No. Did France want a war? No. Did Poland want a war? No. Nobody wanted a war. Everybody was exhausted from the First World War. Millions dead. Entire generation blown to pieces. Nobody wanted a war. Why did the war happen? Because Moustache Man invaded Austria, and then the Sudetenland, and then Neville Chamberlain talks to him. He says, mate, stop invading countries. Moustache Man says, all right, and then he invades Prague, and then he invades Poland, and then he invades Norway, and then he invades France, right? And somehow, stupid, retarded, low IQ neo-Nazis on the internet think that Moustache Man is somehow innocent and pure and never did anything wrong when he invades like 4, 5, 6 countries in a row and starts a war which nobody wanted. And somehow they blame this on Churchill and the Zionist lobby. Who put Churchill into power? Moustache Man. Imagine an alternative history in which Moustache Man had never invaded Austria. Imagine that history. Imagine it. Would anybody have... Would Churchill have raised an army and invaded Germany? Like, think about it. But of course, people are lacking in creative thought. And gone on a bit of a tangent here. But anyway, the point being that we have this retarded neo-Nazi movement which has crippled any kind of English ethno-nationalism. It's totally poisoned it. People get involved with these ethno-nationalists. They think, yeah, someone's sticking up for white people. And then they get into the chat groups and they read what people are saying. And it's all like, oh, I love Germany. I love Julius Evola. I love German idolism. I wish I was German. I wish my great-great-grandfather was killed by a German and I didn't even exist. Right? So it's suicidal. I mean, it's psychologically suicidal. You're literally wishing that your ancestor was dead. If you're wishing that a foreign nation had won a war against you. You have to support your own warrior. Even Jonathan Bowden said this. You have to support your own warriors. You know? But anyway. Point. I've drifted off my point. But the point I'm making is I've always advocated for an English ethno-nationalism that would work hand in hand with civic nationalism to do something to save the country. That's what I've always advocated for. And I think that we can do that with Tory entryism. I don't see any other way, guys. And that is what I'm proposing, essentially. Because we're reaching the 48-minute mark. So I'll just clarify my position once again. That is my proposal, Tory entryism. Because, number one, there's not going to be a revolution. Number two, third party, not working. Number three, option, the academic agent option. Oh, we'll just smoke cigars. Not going to do anything, right? Number four, option, a northern old Labour Party. Well, I wish someone would build it, but it doesn't exist and nobody's talking about it. You know, destroy the Labour Party. It's do it, bro. It's not happening. What are the other options here? Fifth option, we're talking about alternative options. This is total pie in the sky, but worth mentioning. How about a coalition of e-celebs? Okay, because party politics is shit. As soon as you join a party, you've got to toe the party line, and then your party gets done for libel because some random person says some bullshit, and so you've got to create this tyrannical system to prevent that from happening. Well, you can skip all that if you just have a coalition of independent e-celebs. Okay, so I'm going to make this video. I'm going to call it Tory Entryism. I'm going to put Connor Tomlinson, who works for the Lotus Eaters. I'm going to put him on the picture. Maybe he'll end up watching this. Probably not. But anyway, you could have every angry e-celeb in the country just running as an independent, right? They wouldn't have to censor any of their opinions. And they just, work in coalition with each other. And you could get the whole internet to rally behind that. And you could literally just get everyone on board. Even Hitchens, well, not Hitchens, because he's a miserable old bastard, but James Delingpole, David Icke, just get all the crazies. And it's actually doable because people vote, funny enough, for the Monster Raven Looney Party because they're so fed up. If I had a candidate in my constituency who had a minor e-celeb following, I'd vote for them. And if you had that nationwide and you got into the news, because you could with a coalition of independents, it would be a thing, right? I reckon it'd do something. Could it win? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? If you got enough famous people just to say, well, maybe people just be like, fuck Labour, fuck the Tories, fuck reform, I'm voting for someone who just speaks their mind. I think this is a doable thing. I think that every celebrity out there who's just complaining about politics on the internet should do it by rights. Otherwise, you're just a little bitch moaning about stuff. I should do it, but I'll get thrown in jail for hate speech, so it's not going to happen. Like Sven Longshanks, so that's not going to happen. But I think, a coalition of independents, I wish Sargon would do it, and his gang, and just get everybody on board. At least it'd be fun. Do you know what I mean? At least it'd be fun and cool and interesting. And you could go out in the streets and interview people and do a whole bunch of live streams and have a chit chat, and it'll be rowdy and it would be cool. And actually, not to get all spiritual and woo-woo about it, but I remember when this idea popped into my head, and I remember having I was doing a voice message to a friend of mine, and I remember looking out the window as I was talking about it, and I saw fire in the sky. As in somebody had set off a flare or a firework or something in the middle of the day. And that was an omen. So, coalition of independents? Yeah, fucking do it, bro. Please do. But those are your options. I don't see anybody doing these options because it's all pie in the sky. So what are we left with? Tory Entryism. So, essentially, Tory party, as far as I understand it, it's about 200,000 members. There are hundreds of thousands of very, very disturbed and unhappy gammon in this country. So let's everyone just join the Tory party. That an infrastructure is in place. You can go to all of their pubs. You can drink beer. You can talk to your local councillors. You can meet them. You can bang your fist on the table and say, do something about immigration. Do something about transgenderism. Fix the country. Right? And also as a matter of practicality, everybody knows Rishi is going down. Who's going to be the next leader? Again, this is what I'm saying. Like crabs in a barrel, guys. People just like to complain about shit, but they don't offer solutions. If the right wing had any sense, like if everybody just rallied and said, Rishi out, make Jacob Rees-Mogg Prime Minister. Right? I said this about Lee Anderson, funny enough, before they kicked him out. But whatever, Mogg, it would be better, wouldn't it? I think, because of the way that politics works in our country, I think that right-wing influencers on the internet could theoretically force the Tory party to do backbench rebellions, continuous backbench rebellions until we get what we want. We should learn to bend them to our will. They should fear us, right? I don't mean in a threatening way, of course. I'm just saying they should fear our public opinion, right? Why not? Why isn't this happening? Instead, you get people just reacting to the news and then screaming out loud, "Oh, the government is shit." Well, that doesn't upset. It upsets them a little bit, but it's not specific. You need to encourage the rebellion. You need to grab the party by the fucking balls and squeeze and make them do what we want them to do. You will never do this to the Labour Party because they are psychotic. But the Muslims are doing this to the Labour Party, aren't they? They've really proved it. So the Muslims are doing this to the Labour Party. Why can't white people do this to the Tory Party? Why can't we? Because white people are retarded. That's why. And white people are reactionary. And white people are crabs in a barrel. And white people just say, I'm so clever. Oh, you Tory entryism. Oh, you're so dumb. Fuck you. What's your plan? What's your fucking plan? Right? Write in the message below. Write in the comment section. Tell me your plan, Mr. Big Brain. You don't have a plan. At least I'm offering a plan. What is stopping? I mean, will the Tory Party kick you out if you say something politically incorrect? Yes. Well, don't say anything politically incorrect then. Just 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 angry gammon. We all just join, and we're there now, and we're in it, and then we form our own caucus inside it, and we work out how do we pull the strings within this party? How do we pull the strings? Who is screwing this party up, and how do we get rid of them, and how do we defeat them? That is a path forward. That is a doable, realistic, achievable path forward. It is not pie in the sky. It's not some gay fantasy about a revolution. It's not a pipe dream about an alternative party. It's not a dream about some weird esoteric Julius Evola bullshit that's never going to happen. It is doable, my dear friends. And it's low risk. Like, no offense to Britain First. I think they're doing great work. But let's be honest, if you join it, you could get into trouble. Homeland is the new one. You join that, could get into trouble. A lot of people being thrown in jail after being involved with the patriotic alternative. You know what I mean? Would Sam Mayer, right, would the 100-handers be in jail now if he'd have joined UKIP like I suggested? Probably not. Would he be in jail now if he'd have joined the Tory party? Put his energy into that? Probably not. You know? So I just think we live in a country with a first past the post system. A third party, an alternative party, is not going to get in. This country is not Germany. This country is not Spain. This country, it doesn't work like that in this country. It's very difficult to get in. And so what is the path forward? Entryism. That's it. That's it. If you say if you're going to tell me I'm wrong, give me a real clear, reasonable reason why I'm wrong. Not just like, don't fucking give me this bullshit. Oh, I'm voting Tory. I'm so tired of low IQ shit. I'm so fucking tired of it. 8 years on the internet. 8 fucking years I've been on the internet. I'm so tired. Do you know what I mean? So that's my little rant. I'm going to put a picture of Connor Tomlinson. Connor Tomlinson. Young lad. Works for the Lotus Eaters. Been on GB News a few times. Been on Talk TV a new time. Contributor to the Critic Mag, whatever that is. Catholic. Got a girlfriend. So not gay. Very good. Hasn't had a baby yet. But apparently his girlfriend's got baby rabies. So get on in there, my son. But anyway, he's a good lad. And he is a member of the Tory party, basically. He is a member of the Tory party, and he is on the Lotus Eaters, and he is saying a lot of very, very right-wing stuff. Okay, not the kind of stuff that I say. I'm not trying to get him in trouble. Nothing close to the things that I say, but nonetheless quite right-wing. So follow him. I mean, he's figured it out. He's literally the most intelligent e-celeb in this country, as far as I can see it. Right? No offense to everybody else, but he gets it. Like, play the power game. Join the power structure. Don't just sit outside the power structure, bitching and moaning about stuff, because you ain't even in the game, boy. You ain't even in the game. Okay? Because, once again, just to clear this up, Rishi Sunak is going down, and there will be a leadership election coming up soon. Connor Tomlinson will be able to vote in that leadership election for the next leader of the Tory party. You, whoever's listening to this, you will not be able to vote for it because you are not a member of the Tory party. Do you see what I'm saying here, guys? Do you see what I'm saying? Okay? Liz Truss, great opportunity. I was so happy when she came in. It's like we finally gave the Tory members the choice, and they had a choice between globalist Rishi or Liz Truss, and we got Liz Truss. And it was a great opportunity, and it was a great victory, but then she got hatchet jobbed, and she didn't have the balls to see it through. And I've seen that other guy, I forget his name, the Brokenomics guy, say, well, this means that the Tory, you can't even do that within the Tory party. But I reckon it's because she didn't have the balls. Because she was a woman, she was weak, and she quit. She quit. She didn't have to quit. They should have forced her out. She should have stood there and made them force her out. Do you know what I mean? She should have stuck to her guns and made them have another leadership election. She quit. Jared Batten quit as well. He was weak as well. This is what I'm saying. Fucking boomers. They're just weak. I mean, she's not a boomer, but whatever. You know what I mean? They're just weak leadership. Farage, weak leadership. Batten, weak. Quit. Liz Truss, quit. Why do you fucking quit? Why are you listening to left-wing dickheads saying shit about you in the media? Just tell them all to absolutely fuck off and fix the country. Instead, you quit and then you write a book saying, oh, the system's broken. No, you quit. Do you know what I mean? Don't quit and then tell me the system's broken. No, fucking stick in there and make them drag you out. So, yeah, I saw the Brokenomics guy say, oh, this proves that entryism doesn't work and we have to follow AA and smoke cigars and read Julius Evola. Well, no. No. I mean, I like the Brokenomics guy. Smart guy. But he doesn't have a plan. His plan is, oh, something will appear. We need to form an alternative organization. What the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Right? That's not a plan. Okay? We are in an emergency situation here, and we need a plan that's going to work right now, right fucking now, and we need to get ready for the next election, basically. I mean, if people listen to because I've been advocating for Tory entryism, by the way, for a long, long time, and I've been advocating for the right wing to get a fucking grip on the Tory party for a fucking long time. If people listen to me, instead of censoring me and, saying, oh, don't listen to Brutus, he's a bad person. But if you'd all listened to me, we would have got our fucking teeth in the Tories right now and we'd be gripping them and we'd be threatening them. And we'd be saying, get rid of Rishi. Get rid of Rishi. Give us a real leader that's going to fix the country. Otherwise, you'll lose this coming election. And we could do it. We could have done it. And we could have a real leader now because it's obvious Rishi has failed. Could have another backbench revolution. A new leader. We could have won this election and push the country in the right direction. It's doable. It's not doable now because it's too late, because nobody listens to me and we don't have the membership and we haven't figured out how to bend the party to our will. But nonetheless, what is going to happen is that no one's voting Tory. The reform is not going to get in. The vote will be split. Labour will get in. Everything's going to be totally shit for 5 years. It's going to be one of the worst periods of our history. Okay? Because it's going to be like Blair, but on steroids. It's the whole country's just going to be Rotherham, essentially. It's going to be dark. I don't even know if we can bounce back in 5 years. I mean, I don't want to be too black-pilled. Labour gets in. God knows what kind of laws they're going to pass. And God knows, like, what are they going to do? Just take 100,000 Muslims and put them in the army? Like, I don't even know. Are they going to start confiscating people's houses and putting... I mean, I don't even know. It could be just be the end of the story. It really could be that bad. But nonetheless, this is where we are now. This is where we are. And I don't know if it's going to be that bad. It might just be moderately bad. Who knows? But I don't see another path ahead. Or the only path forward that I see is Tory entryism. And so that's what I wanted to say in this video. I do want to make another... I do want to just say one more thing at the end, because I wanted to just continue on from the conversation that I had with Unwashed at the weekend. We were talking about the Palestine question, the Gaza question. And I was kind of goofing around a little bit. I mean, I did say right in the beginning that the real answer to the question of who you support is neither, because it is a false choice, right? I don't support Israel. I don't support Palestine. I couldn't give a flying monkeys. I hope they all just kill each other, right? The Palestinians are not my friends. The Israelis are not my friends. Both of these groups of people hate me. And so, no, I couldn't give a flying fuck about dead Palestinian children or dead Israeli people. Don't care. Not my problem. That was my original answer to Unwashed. When I did a live stream with him on Sunday. But then we started goofing around. I started joking, saying we're going to have to convert to Islam. And, because I was making the point, Muhammad obviously had ginger hair, so he probably had blue eyes, so he's probably white. So I was saying you could do some kind of like white Islam or something. And then I was saying, I'll support the Palestinian cause. And then I flip-flopped and I said, oh no, I'll support the Israel cause. I don't know. I was just goofing around, right? I was just making fun of the subject matter because I find it stupid. I did say my position in the beginning. But I've been thinking about that the last few days. Probably best not to joke about converting to Islam, because even if you are joking, you're still feeding energy into that thing, which is going to be forced on us pretty soon. It's going to be forced on us, and I don't want to be putting energy into that, even though I was joking. So I wanted to make that point clear, and I also just want to really, really clarify my position on the Israeli Gaza conflict. And my position is determined neutrality, right? That's my little buzzword that I've invented. That is my official political position on the Israeli Gaza conflict. And what I mean by that is that, Unwashed was making an interesting point that an entire generation of Zoomers now are growing up watching the Israelis genocide 2.5 million Muslims in Gaza. And they don't like Israel anymore. And they're kind of getting red-pilled on the Israeli question and the Zionist question and the JQ in general, right? So this is kind of good. Don't get in the way of your enemy when he's making a mistake, right? That's what Napoleon said. So, because the Zoomers are liberal and left-wing and friendly with the Muslims for whatever reason. So if the Muslims are going to red pill them on the JQ, then okay, let it happen, right? And Unwashed was also making the point that a lot of the right-wing people, your Douglas Murray and what have you, your GB News, now it's open season on Muslims because obviously the Zionists that run the media, they want to make the Muslims look bad. So a lot of gammon are getting red-pilled on Muslims, and I think they already were, but whatever. Now they're allowed to talk about it, I suppose. So I was thinking, well, it's like a double red pill, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Half the population's getting red-pilled on the JQ, and the other half's getting red-pilled on the Islamic question. So I think the way forward for any sensible British nationalist is just to wait and take a position of determined neutrality and just say, essentially wait for people, or don't have to wait, but just point out to people that neither of these people are our friends. That's the correct position to take. Okay? And I did say this in our conversation, but then I was joking around. But that is the correct position to take and show to people, look, okay, so you're marching with the Free Palestine lot. I mean, that's great, but you do realize these people hate you. And so hopefully people can see through this false choice of having to support Palestine or Israel, and then maybe they'll start to support England instead. That's the correct position. And following the Palestinians, like Unwashed, Mark Collett, Nick Griffin, like hanging out with, trying to support Jeremy Corbyn and trying to support George Galloway. Like, supporting all these people is a terrible, terrible idea, because you will be marching hand in hand with Pakistani gang rapists, basically. And why are you doing this? You're doing this because, we have the red people on the JQ. Well, I don't know. Is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Is it really worth? Are you so lacking in principle that you just all of a sudden you'll forget about Rotherham and snuggle up to these people for what? And then I got Unwashed coming on the show, starts telling me about the Quran and some beautiful, and it's like, what? Anyway, no offense to Unwashed. I like Unwashed, and I'm not saying anything that I didn't say to his face on the stream. But yeah, terrible, terrible mistake. Terrible mistake for British nationalism. But there you go. I mean, that's the whole neo-Nazi thing, right? Nick Griffin's a neo-Nazi. What is the spirit of neo-Nazism? The spirit of neo-Nazism is anti-Englishism. That's all it is. You have people with a grudge, a chip on their shoulder. In the 70s, it was the punks, right? Screwdriver, I think the band was called. A lot of them joined the National Front, and they're just like, fuck you, mum, fuck you, dad, fuck the king, fuck the queen, fuck the country. I'm a punk, I'm rebellious, fuck the system. So they joined the National Front, right? Because Nazism is anti-English. And the peak, do you know what peak neo-Nazism is in England? I'll tell you, it's a guy called David Matt. Okay, go look that up on Wikipedia. He's a guy, you can see the picture of him. Totally crazy neo-Nazi, member of Combat 88, which was like a fringe group that broke off from the BNP, which wanted to do all kinds of crazy shit. Hardcore neo-Nazi. And you know what happened to David Matt? Oh yeah, he converted to Islam. There you go. So the same attitude. He's anti-English, he's anti-British Empire. At some point, Nazism is not enough, and so he converts to the other enemy of the British Empire, which is Islam. Why? Because it's just fuck you, right? There is this kind of mentality. There's a lot of people on the internet have this kind of mentality. They just want to see the world burn. They're just anti-English. That's why, that's why the patriotic alternative would never fly the Union Jack. This new party, Homeland, won't fly the Union Jack. Right? That's why they're like, fuck Winston Churchill. They're essentially part of the old German Ottoman Empire alliance, essentially. Right? Germany was anti-imperialist. Why? Because the British Empire ruled the world. And why did the First World War happen? Because Germany wanted to compete on the seas, and they were building lots of ships and a lot of tension. So Germany was kind of anti-imperialist, or at least anti-British imperialism. The Ottoman Empire also. So they teamed up. It's the anti-imperialist German Muslim alliance. Right? I mean, there's a lot that could be said about all that. But the point I'm making is that I think it is a terrible idea for British nationalists to associate themselves with marching side by side with Muslims for peace in Palestine, right? It's a terrible. If you put a gun... Actually, I said this several times in the live stream. If you put a gun to my head and made me choose... I did say I'd choose Palestine, but to be honest with you, I could easily just as well choose Israel. Like, just for the lols. Do you know what I mean? Like, whatever, dude. Whatever. Please do not ally yourselves with these people. Please do not fall into that trap. Please do not do that. I mean, can we just ally ourselves with England just for once? Ally yourself with the gammon. Ally yourself with the evil Tory party. Okay, I know you hate them. I know you think that you're really fucking clever. Okay, but there's that old saying by Aristotle, or maybe it was Plato, I forget, but you either do politics or politics will do you. Right? You think you're so fucking clever for not voting. You think you're so fucking clever for not joining a political party. Well, you're getting screwed, buddy. I mean, let me just... Last thing I'll say. What is the entire narrative of the mainstream media? You know what it is? The narrative is drop out. For 90% of people, this means Netflix and Pornhub. For the 10% of people that actually are interested in politics, this means apathy. Okay? Which takes many, many different forms. It could be survivalism. It could be get interested in self-improvement instead of politics. It could be, well, a lot of the times it's just accelerationism. A lot of the times it's just crabs in a barrel. A lot of the time it's just irony, bro. Oh, you're not going to actually do something. That will never work. You're stupid. Which is pushed forward by bad actors. And then because a lot of unhappy people in this country are involved in politics, right? Myself included. One reason why people get involved in politics is because their lives are shit. And they're unhappy people. And they're not constructive people. I mean, I'm quite constructive, but whatever. Do you know what I mean? A lot of fucked up people, let's be honest. Their lives are shit. They get involved with politics. And they bring that same shit, destructive attitude into the game of politics. And so they don't form a plan of how you can actually win. They just criticize and shit on everything. And then, of course, the bad actors take that to their advantage and turn them into accelerationists who just want to burn everything down. Okay, so I will vote for reform in the coming election as a protest vote because Tories are not going to win anyway. And with the power of that protest vote, we will be able to use that to influence the Tory party to push it to the right. But the only way that that can work is if we do Tory entryism and get into the party and vote for the next Tory leader to make him a good leader and figure out what are the mechanisms within the party that work and how can we bend them to our advantage and how can we turn this party to our advantage so that we can create a real opposition to Labour tyranny and to the woke tyranny. That, my friends, is the path forwards. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you.